What's good? February 21st, 2022. Wanted to talk about a little bit more about spiritual warfare. And like I always say, it's a war. God tells us we're in a war. And like I done said in plenty of videos, the war ain't, he gives us everything we need. He gives us his word. He gives us the endurance. He gives us the faith. He gives us the knowledge, the wisdom. He tells us if you need wisdom, ask. You know, if you need anything, knock. You know, and in spiritual warfare, like I said, when you know who you're fighting against, when you know who the real enemy is, especially in marriages and work and family, especially in marriages, the enemy, he's gonna test you. You know, if you say that you go to church and you love God and you following and you reading the word every day, but you're not doing what the word says, the enemy's gonna test you. How is he gonna test you? Check this out. So I give myself over to God, and I know I ain't broke my journey down with me and my ex-wife, but I will. You know, I give my life over to God, and God tells me, this is your wife, and I had to treat her like she was my wife. So, I didn't question God. I didn't say, well, let me see how I feel about this woman. Let me see if I want to be with this woman. Nah, God said, this is your wife. So why would I question God? You see what I'm saying? Like, I know he spoke to me. Everything that happened, that transpired after, even though we're not together, it led to me being who I am now. It's all for a greater purpose, okay? They don't tell you, once you get married, you're not going to never divorce in the Bible. It don't say that in the Bible. It tells us if we want an abundant life to follow his word, and that takes two people to have the faith to follow God's word. And if you do what God's word tells you, then he's going to bless you. Then you can have an abundant life with your wife. But, everybody got to fall in line. You got to have God, husband, wife, children. If you can do it in that order, then you can have everything that your heart desires, you and your wife. It's like you get double blessings. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be blessed in everything you do. Everything you ask for, you're going to have favor in everything you ask for. And like I said, it's not even about money. You can have good health. You could, anything you ask for, promotions, whatever. God, if it's for the kingdom, he's going to provide with you. He's going to provide for you on this earth. If you're doing it for the kingdom, let me say that. That's important. You can't be like, oh God, I need $10,000 because I want to, just have it in my pocket and buy some clothes. Is that helping the kingdom? Is like, how is that helping the kingdom? If it's going to help the kingdom, then God is going to provide for you. But back to what I'm saying, right? So in marriages, the enemy's gonna test you. So like I was saying, I get a little off track a little bit. So when I was with my ex-wife, right, and I gave my life to God, and I'm trying to live right, even though I wasn't still there, I noticed something. All these women that I used to talk to, who I used to like, who I done slept with before, or who I wanted to sleep with, they all started coming at me. I was on dating sites. I'm getting like all these baddies. Nice job, look good. They was inboxing me. I wasn't inboxing them. And I'm like, wow, this like, I'm thinking to myself, man, I'm hot right now. But nah, that was the enemy trying to throw me off course. See, because if I chose to deal with one of these other women and not the woman that I was supposed to, which is my ex-wife, which led me to be where I'm at right now, then guess what? I'm not where I'm at right now. If I said, you know what, because God already done told me, that's your wife, right? So I knew I had to leave everybody alone, exes and everything else. Now, I did stay in contact with an ex, but not to stay in contact with them to be with them. It was more, I felt like that woman could help me, you know, because we combined in families, and she was a couponer, and that's what she did, and I thought she could kind of give me some tips and stuff like that. And then, you know, the way it happened with me and my ex-wife and my ex-girlfriend, it was like that. So it was kind of hard to let go of my ex, even though we, at that time, we was going through some things, but we wasn't together. And, you know, I had to let her go. I had to choose. So it was like God was testing me, right? He wanted to see who I'm going to be loyal to, him, or was I going to be selfish and live for myself? Because living for myself would have been, I'm going to be with my ex-girlfriend because that's what made me happy. But living for him, I had to choose to be with the woman that he said is my wife. And I was contemplating it, but I eventually said, I got to choose my wife, right? I can't be with my ex. If this is what God told me, then this is what I got to follow. This is me having faith that whatever's about to transpire or whatever I'm about to go through, I had to put God first. So that was a test from God. He wanted to see where my loyalty was. But he still didn't have all my loyalty because I was listening to my ex-wife more than I was reading the word and following the word. Because at that time, I wasn't reading the word. God was speaking to me. I could hear him. And then what's funny, the same things that he was saying to me